lot more content recently. Today is Friday. Tomorrow I'm actually dropping a new video on the update to the hemipene situation that we faced a couple months back. I'm just now finally getting to drop it. But yeah, we're dropping a lot of videos and doing a lot more live streams. So I figured why not do a live stream while I am setting up some babies tonight. So as you're going to see right here, I don't know if it's 30 for sure. So by the end of this stream, we can kind of, keep up with each other and kind of see what it winds up being. But we're going to be setting up a bunch of babies tonight. I usually pull babies from the incubator once every 3 to 4 days. I think this time was maybe like a 5-day venture before I got geckos. And then we're going to be putting them, I have to clean these bins up, transform them into baby bins. And then we actually ran out of baby space. So if you see all that stuff on the top shelf right there is all babies that just hatched over the last month. And I had to empty this bottom shelf down here just for babies. So Jacob will be happy to hear that our babies are up and running. And Jacob is our employee / friend over here. I sent him a picture. I was like, I think we got 30 plus, man, because he was counting them today before he left work. So actually, it's kind of hot. I'm going to leave this on. If there's any echo from the fan, let me know. Another reason I wanted to show these babies is because they're really high quality. So if you see how orange this baby is a Generation 2 Mandarin Bold crossed back to our Mandarin. So the Generation 2 stuff is really important because that's the outcrossing that takes place to bring brand new fresh DNA into a leopard gecko project. And if you know anything about tangerine projects, they've all been mixed and matched to create each other. So Gecko Genetics, Mandarin, Inferno, Tornado, Electric, all that stuff has been mixed with each other or comes from each other over time. So one of my goals is to create completely new tangerine lines. And I'm accomplishing that with our bold emerine hyperxanthic stuff, our thick bold stripe stuff, Afghanicus even playing around. Fasciolatus I'm really excited for because Fasciolatus kind of brings out like pastel color, like lavenders. And I think if that's going to create some really nice hues of light oranges and stuff for Generation 1. And then Generation 2, I don't even know how to guess how it would be, but I think it would be amazing. A breakup of different colors, almost looking like a sunset. You know how when a sun sets, it has like light color that's like painted over the sky? That's kind of the way that I picture second generation Fasciolatus mandarins will be. We got some snow Fasciolatus stuff in here. No Black Knight stuff in here, but that should be coming soon. Albino stuff, obviously. So I am going to kind of show you guys how I do it, answer questions. We have our powder here. We got our worms. We got all these geckos. We got the bins. Let's rock and roll. So here's going to be, see if I could do this and kind of look down there. Oh, my wife's preparing my water. That's awesome. I could hear her. So I don't like these top opening lids for the babies. I only like them for juveniles. So I'm going to, because this came from like a sold animal. And I don't use these for babies. I'll show you what I use. So we just take the old tub of the gecko that's sold, right? So this was a gecko that's sold. I'm gonna put a light little spritz down and get this ready for a baby here. And I have some bowls kind of prepped. You can't really see it too much, but I got some bowls prepped down here. Well, not bowls. I mean humid hides prepped down here from when we upgrade juveniles to the top opening adult style ones. I can add a little bit of substrate if I feel like I would like some more in there. And again, we set our babies up with humid hides right from the start, just because I noticed that that's the best for them. They use it, they love it, they have no shedding issues, especially in Arizona where it's super dry. And then we use these like low 2.5 ounce black dishes. I'll put some worms in the dish, sprinkle some worms on the floor, I've showed this in videos before, but in case you haven't seen, that's how much worms I give to 2 babies for week number 1. So if I had to guess, it's a bit overkill, honestly, but if I had to guess, it's probably 20 to 25 worms for week 1 for 2 babies. It's overkill, but I would rather it be overkill than underkill, you know? So sometimes when we're setting up babies here, most of the babies are hatching in clutches of 2, but sometimes we incubate babies, like for example, check these guys out. Sometimes we incubate babies in like 6s or 5s or sometimes even 7. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4, so this will break down perfectly. But sometimes, here's a perfect example. So here's 3 in here. Here's 3 babies in here that need to get set up. And then there's only 1 baby here. However, because these are both tangerine, I won't put them together unless it's something like this. Here I have an albino. Here I have a non-albino. That way, when I label the tub, I won't get them mixed up. So check this out. I'm going to get to some questions, but here's kind of how I'm going to do this. So on the ID label, which is right here, we have a Mandarin Bold Generation 2, and that is non-albino. That is non-albino. And then we have a Mandarin Inferno Tremper, which is albino. So that's basically it. I'll also put these were incubated for male, and I'll put the date of hatch on here. What's today's date? Let's see if someone can hit me up real quick with the date. Date. What's today's date? I'm gonna guess the 12th. Now that I'm not in school or like working in office anymore, I have like no idea what the dates are. But I'm gonna put 12 on there. If I'm wrong, then I can correct it. But yeah, thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. So today's the 12th. So basically the way I label it is, this is probably backwards to you, but there's the Mandarin Bold Generation 2. And I know what this means and the possible hets that all these bloodlines have because I've worked with them for years. And then Mandarin Inferno Tremper, M-A-I-N-T-R. I use the first 2 letters of everything to kind of symbolize things. So Mandarin Inferno Tremper, that's not really a Generation 2 because it was kind of, let's see, what was it? Yeah, it was basically just like Mandarin Inferno to Mandarin Inferno, so it's basically still a Generation 1 thing. Thanks, ACJ. Appreciate it. Oh, so the giveaway is expanding. I don't know if you guys saw, but Apex Cages, which is in Arizona, they are going to give us a cage for our operation here, but also donate a cage, free shipping, all that good stuff to one of you guys. We are also in conversation. Me and the owner of Apex Cages are going out to lunch next week. We seem to be online with our heart's desire of what we would like to accomplish for the leopard gecko hobby, but also other reptiles. So I'm going to be helping him he's an engineer. By trade, he is an engineer. He designed display cases for jewelry stores and stuff like that. So he's an engineer and then took that engineering and applied it to the reptile world and started with cages. But he's going to go into racks, he's going to go into incubators, and probably display cages for shows as time goes on. So I'm really excited to partner with them. I would love to ride it out to the moon with them and promote one company. Peach, you're so cool. I still have to release my Peaches, the underground edition. I only have 1 Peaches left, I think, for now, so don't worry, guys. I'm not going to overwhelm you with that. But I have 1 version I did not release that I will be releasing. It was a little embarrassing to me, so I didn't release it, but I'll release it now. And then you let me know in the comments if you can understand why it was embarrassing. But really excited for Apex Cages. We have plans out here in Arizona to expand into possibly retail, but our next step is like warehousing and like facility for all our animals. and he wants to help us build that out. And we can show off his cages and come up with racks and brainstorm ideas. It's been an idea of mine for a long time now. If it's possible to incorporate UVB into a racking system that's affordable for people, because I told him, I was like, you know, it doesn't do any good if we deck these cages out, but then people can't afford it. So he's all about efficiency. I'm all about efficiency. Not too much space, not too little space, more than what the animal needs for its quality of life, but at an affordable price point for people, so that it's not something that only a few people can have, but something that almost everybody can afford. So that's kind of the direction that he would like to head, and the same direction I would like to head, especially as we expand, you know what I mean? So I think we're both pretty excited to work with each other. So I'm going out to lunch with them next week to kind of pencil down some drawings and stuff while we're at lunch, and talk a little bit more about how we envision this partnership working. But for now, what's the name? He's going to be giving away one of his 30-inch by 18-inch by 18 tall cages, free ship to you, free cage. It's amazing. Even the hexagon lid of the cage, which is only part of the hexagon lid, part of the cage, even that has bigger holes in it, and so that the UVB, if you have a light that's above the cage, the UVB can penetrate better. So I don't know if you know this, but in a regular screen tank, a regular screen tank gets the majority of UVB blocked out, and in his tanks, the majority. Thank you, hon. The majority of UVB goes through. So he's just an excellent guy, and he's from Canada, Sarah. His name is Trenton from Apex Cages. He's from Canada. So if you want to get involved in that giveaway, go over to our Instagram, Geeky Gecko Creations. Take a look at my post. It's like one of the last 4 posts I made. All you got to do is go over to Apex Cages on Instagram, give them a like, give them a follow, and then comment on my post that you did that, and you could be entered to win his cage. So, baby time. I'm really excited for this because I wasn't sure if Generation 2 would be super, super nice. But I got to tell you guys, I hatch a lot of babies, and this is even more orange in person. So imagine 3 times more orange in person. And this is a Generation 2 hyperxanthic bold emerine cross to our Mandarin boy. So it's a Generation 2 Mandarin bold emerine cross, which should bring in a lot of black patterning, a lot of black spotting. That's why I wanted to cross our tangerines into bold, so that we not only have super hypo stuff, which everyone loves a Charmander gecko, that's super hypo, right? But also heavily patterned stuff. So that's kind of one of the ways that we're going with it too. So I'm going to put this little one in here. Just shimmy her in. And we're going to save this because there's still an egg in here. So we're going to put that back into the incubator. And then we're going to include this little gem, which is a Mandarin Inferno cross, which is part of our Manferno project, which is pretty amazing. Denise, what's going on, Denise? Denise is contributing a nice gift card to the giveaway. Geckopia is doing a gift card. And there's a few other people that are doing geckos and gift cards. Thomas from Tucson's Finest Leos. Junior's Leos from Junior's Leos. And that is going to be pretty cool. Oh, I need to grab some lids real quick. Alright, so we got our lids here. Now that we got our label on, we got our tub set up. This one is good to go. This one is good to go. So over the next couple of days on Instagram, I'm going to be dropping posts of every single giveaway that's going to be involved in next week's giveaway. All you have to do is follow the instructions in each one of those posts. Now, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you guys. I think the way that I'm going to do the giveaway this year is you have to be at the giveaway. So, like, the instructions in the posts are very simple. It's like, I'm even going to make one that says, like, do something nice for somebody today and comment what it was below. You know, like today's instruction was just go over to Apex Cages and follow them and comment below. So I'm going to give like simple instructions like that. But at the end of the day, I really think that for future giveaways, I want the person that wins to be there live. So as soon as we jump on the live on YouTube, which will be next Friday, a representative for that person or that actual person needs to be there, and I will enter every single person's name. That way I can get connected with people right away, and there's no communication barrier. Because sometimes when people don't show up to the live giveaway, there's a huge communication barrier and confusion over how to get in contact with somebody. And it's also a little bit more fun to be there live when the giveaway happens, whether you win it or whether I'm spinning the wheel and somebody's actually physically present. It's a lot more joyful to kind of see their reaction and people's reaction. Another thing, here's another reason why the giveaway, I think you're going to have to be there live. You know what I mean? And if I know you and you really can't be there live, let me know. Maybe we'll find a representative for you. But that's I'm kind of leaning towards you got to be there kind of thing. Another reason is, let's say we have 10 prizes, right? If we have 10 prizes, I want the first person that wins the spin the wheel, I want them to be able to choose what prize they want instead of being forced with a prize that they don't want. So like we have animals, caging, gift cards, and then figurines. Sarah from Dragonheart Exotics is donating some awesome figurines. So we have those different categories of giveaway, so that if you don't want a live animal right now, you could choose a gift card, or you could choose the figurines, or you could choose the cage. You know what I mean? So that's kind of another reason why I wanted to do, you have to actually like physically be there so you could choose what prize you actually want to win. All right, so these guys are going to go down here. And we're going to set up the next. It seems like most of you guys are on board with that idea. So I'm happy about that, you know. I like to make everybody happy, and sometimes it's nice to just comment on a post and know that you're going to be entered in the giveaway. But it kind of takes a little bit of the community aspect out of it, as well as last time I did that, it just became difficult to get in contact with some of the people that won, you know? So anyway, all right, setting this up, we got, I always like the front opening ones as well. My favorite morph of Leopard Gecko, I would have to say, is still Tangerine. Like, as much as I love Black Knight, I still feel like I couldn't live without Tangerine. You know, so I'm gonna have to go with Tangerine. And the thing that we're working on for Tangerine right now, you know, for years, people were taking pattern out of Tangerine, but now we're working on bringing pattern back into Tangerine. So like bold spotting, bold striping, but also heavily orange animals. That's kind of one of our main project goals for Tangerine moving forward. It's always so satisfying, like setting up geckos, getting to see what they come out, what they hatch like. We always spill a little calcium on the floor. Oh, I forgot. I like to, for week number 1, I like to start them off with a shallow bowl. So I forgot that for these guys. Not every gecko needs a shallow bowl, but I like to, this little baby crawled under the paper towel here. I like to, what's the word? Streamline. I like to streamline stuff for myself as well as our employees. It's much harder to teach an employee, hey, do this task for certain animals that meet these qualifications, and don't do this task for other animals that don't meet those qualifications. It's easier to tell them, just do this for all the animals at this age group. So whenever you're setting up babies, water is so crucial for the first couple weeks of the baby's life. And because we hot glue the water bowls, like, I don't know if you saw, you know, we have this in previous videos and whatnot. Let me, hold on. Yeah, there we go. So we hot glue this water bowl to the plastic, and then I drop another water bowl in there. Because of that, it adds a slight height to the water bowl that I'm just a little bit uncomfortable with for runty geckos especially, or just geckos that don't climb so well, right? Like, most babies climb well and it's fine, but again, you don't want to have to worry about the what if babies. What if this baby doesn't drink? What if this baby doesn't climb? So therefore, for the first week, I just put these little 0.5 ounce things in there, so that when the animal grows to its second week of life, it no longer needs that, and I no longer need to be worried about that. It's the same thing with shedding. If you don't give babies humid hides, you always have to worry about them having shedding issues unless you spray your babies. But when you spray your babies, that tends to also spray their poo, and also spray the worms that are crawling around the cage, and also sometimes get the atmosphere too humid, and it's an extra task that you now have to do. And if you have 1,000 babies, that's 1,000 extra tasks that you now have to do, rather than just giving them a humid hide and you don't have to touch that cage for 7 to 10 days until the gecko's second week of life. So efficiency, guys. No wasted space, no wasted motion. That's kind of the goal. Why did I bring this out? This should not be here. Doesn't have a baby in it. But this one, oh, this has 3. I might set these 3 up in here. Sometimes I do 3s, but I prefer 2s. Here's a pair of 2s. These are Afghanicus bolds. So I'm just breeding some Afghanicus and some bold together to heighten black pattern and to heighten all that good stuff. My oldest leopard gecko was only like 12 years old, I want to say, and I sold her as a pet to somebody here locally. So I don't have her anymore. I loved using her for educational purposes. My niece loved her. But at the end of the day, I needed the space, and I just wanted her to find a home where she could be more than just a number on a shelf, because at the stage that I'm at now, I have no time to play with my geckos or anything like that. I have to prioritize their care. I have to prioritize selling them. I have to prioritize customer service for people that purchase geckos and all that, So there's so many other things that I need to prioritize to make sure that all the geckos are healthy and well. And so I just have to sacrifice my personal time with them to accomplish that. Forgot why I brought that up, but I'm going to label these guys. These 2 were Afghanicus bolds, so I'm just going to put AFBO. Can you know what that stands for? AFBO, incubated for male, 5/12 birthday. I know that was all backwards right there. So now these guys are labeled and ready to go to the shelf. Elf on the shelf, except it's gecko on the shelf. I always double check the water, make sure the water, the food. Because again, I'm not going to see these animals for sometimes 7 to 10 days. In the past, when we were kind of running behind, sometimes I wouldn't see the geckos until 14 days later for baby geckos. And that's really risky when you go 14 days without seeing a baby gecko. But I never lost any baby geckos that way. You know what I mean? And now with Jacob's help, we're on a system where every baby and even every adult gets hit between 7 to 14 days. So the adults are more on that 14-day, getting checked every 14 days thing. And then the babies are more towards the 7 to, it's mainly 10 days. 10 to 12 days, the babies are getting checked and fed every 10 to 12 days. You know what I mean? But that's why I just like stacking their tub with everything they need. Welcome to live. It just gave me a notification. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. This is the first time I experienced a community guidelines issue with YouTube. So let me tell you what happened. I just realized recently that you can put your ads up on YouTube, on your YouTube channel. So like if you go to Geeky Gecko's channel, I started noticing that he has his crested gecko diet and his crested geckos that he's selling underneath all his videos. I was like, wow, that's extreme marketing right there. Why don't I do that? So I figured out how to do it. I connected my Shopify store to my YouTube, and then YouTube shut it down because they were like, the product you're selling goes against our community guidelines, that product being animals. But they even shut down my actual physical products that I was selling, like the gecko hides and stuff. And that's probably just because 99% of my Shopify is geckos rather than the hides, right? So it probably picked up on that. There might be a way for me to reset that, but for now, they won't connect my Shopify store to my YouTube account. But there's a little tip for you guys. If you have a store, you can connect it to your YouTube account so that as you make videos, people will see what you're selling in your store underneath, you know? I do need Sarah. Sarah, I need many hands, Sarah. I was just talking about this with Jacob today, because we have really big plans for expansion, you know? Like, I really want to be a large leopard gecko breeder and a large leopard gecko influencer, you know what I mean? And have a large facility. But not only leopard geckos, other species as well. You know we love sailfins, so I would kind of like to build out the ultimate dream, the future dream, is to have a facility that's a breeding facility, kind of like a laboratory, like Jurassic Park, right? Okay, so if you remember the movie Jurassic Park, they start their tour looking at the scientists that are creating the animals. So I want a facility where people can come, and if they want, they could tour our actual breeding laboratories, right? And then in addition to that, we would have a retail front that sells animals and products and all that good stuff, but we would also have like a zoo area as well for some of our pets that we just build extravagant cages for, inside and outdoor, indoor and outdoor animals. So that's like the future vision of where I would like to go, you know? And for that to take place, you're talking about massive amounts of help, not only finances, but also physical labor and help. And so I was talking to Jacob today about that. For now, with his help, as well as a few of our other employees around here, we're just barely managing to get by. Every week, we're managing to get by. Like, we're cool. But when that next step comes, you know what I mean? That's the scary part. But I think we'll figure it out, you know? Part of life sometimes is just figuring things out. I love a little fear in my day. How am I going to do this? Just kidding. I don't think I really do. However, I've come to realize that fear, worry, concern they're just parts of life no matter what you do, and you just kind of have to learn how to deal with them, you know? How to address them head on. Growing pains of business, Friday Night Live. Yeah, I wasn't even going to do a live tonight. And then I realized how many babies I have to set up and how cool the babies look and how great our lives have been doing. Our lives have been doing fantastic, which, by the way, I have a friend out here in Arizona, one of the only people in the world that has successfully bred albino sulcata tortoises. I don't know if you guys like tortoises, but tortoises have taken off on social media. They're the number one. I know I was putting up 2 there because I meant to do a hashtag #1. They're the number one trending reptile, believe it or not. And I'm not that into tortoises, but I'm into progress. I'm into things that are number one. I'm into excitement. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go over to my friend's house who has he has what's the name? Tortoises and all that kind of stuff, and he has some albino tortoises that he just hatched out, and I'm gonna do a tour of his facility. And then there's a few other people in Arizona that I'll do tours of as well. And then we'll keep doing more tours of our stuff here too. So water, human hide, food. Anyway, people seem to really be liking our tour style videos. The collaborations we're doing. You know, I feel like when you watch YouTube videos sometimes, you're kind of vicariously living through the videos you're watching if you're not physically able to do that or be there or whatever the case is. So I think it's super fun to be able to help provide that experience for people, you know. Happy Friday, Frank, in chat from beautiful 70 degrees in Fargo. Where is Fargo? Please enlighten me. All right, so we got a single homie right here. I like matching up the single homies with other ones. Man, we got some beautiful, these ones are beautiful, large. This is from our, I'll set these two up. This is from our thick bold stripe project. I call it TBS because it's thick and drippy bold stripe project where the stripes drip down into the sides of the animal looking like paint dripping off a wall. They're extremely contrasted animals as they age. Amazing. And this is the first thick bold stripe albino that I have hatched out. So amazing. I'm gonna set these two up. And this little one is big. Oh, come on back. Come on back. We got an escapee. We got an escapee, folks. So there's the albino versus the non-albino, but the albino is a big baby, which is awesome. Because the albino's big, actually, no, that's enough worms. I was going to put more worms, but you also don't want too many worms to where it's going to annoy the geckos, bother the geckos, stress the geckos out, and potentially make them not eat. So you also don't want that to happen. So let's make the label out for this one. So this is thick bold stripe. So I'm going to put TBS, thick bold stripe. And I'm also going to put TR on here because one of them is Tremper albino, and that lets me know that the other one is possible het Tremper albino. I didn't even know that. Now I need to mark it. Actually, I'm going to run over to the room and mark it real quick. I'm going to mark that the dad is het albino. So I didn't know that he was het albino. Now I know he's het albino. So, where is my... I need like a little notepad or something like that, you know what I mean? I'm going to do this actually, so I don't have to leave you lovely people here. I'm going to write on my little disposable notepad right here. TBS is HT. So if you ever look at my abbreviations on my animals for sale, it's all listed in a way to where it identifies the genetics of the animal for me. So for example, if you go to our website right now and you were to look at an animal that says INBOWYBA, that stands for Inferno Bold Cross. What did I say next? INBOWY is white and yellow. BA is bandit, right? So all of those abbreviations stand for something, you know? So that's kind of how I make my ID codes for my animals. That way I can double, triple check everything as I'm taking their photo, uploading their information. If a customer checks back with me in the future and they share that ID code with me, I know exactly the lineage and genetics of that animal. So it's all built into itself. All right, so I forgot to finish labeling here. TBS TR thick bold striped tremper. These were incubated for male, 512. So last year I incubated for like 90% females. This year I'm incubating for like 95% males. So they're hatching quick. You know what I mean? It really amazes me how the temperature makes them grow faster to the same size. You know, so looking at an egg at 60 days versus an egg at 35 days, when they both hatch, the animals are the same size. It just amazes me how that is. Oh, here's a great example. Oh, the little baby was actually on top of the water bowl. So that lets me know that that baby does not have an issue getting in the water bowl. But that's also the big albino baby that I was talking about. And in reality, it's only the small runty babies, the weak ones, that have an issue getting up there. But again, it's easier to teach your employees to do something to where you're more confident that the animals are going to live than teach them to do something and maybe they make a mistake because they're not as familiar with the sizing of the animal, or they don't remember as much because it's not as much of a routine for them, and they forget and then the animal dies. So like, I'd rather set standards that even if it costs me a little bit extra time and money, it makes sure that all the animals grow well as much as possible and have a fair shot at life as much as possible, you know? All right, so that's ready. Let me double check. Oh, see? I did not put the little water bowl in here. Even though it's probably not needed, I'm going to do it anyway. See, even I'm not in this routine yet because it's a routine that I just kind of started last week, putting the little water bowl in there. So I'm going to spray this, put the paper towel down, grab the 0.5, grab a refill of 1.5, and spray it down that way. This way, if I can get in the routine of doing that. Actually, first I should probably... See, I'm always thinking of efficiency. How, when you do certain steps 1,000 times, you try to think, how can I make this faster? Because every step counts. So I only want to have to pick up the sprayer once. So what I really should do is start by wetting the humid hide, so I could get the humid hide wet. Then I would directly fill the big water bowl, the small water bowl, and then I'll put that down. So that's kind of the way that I view efficiency, is no wasted time, no wasted steps. While you got the thing in your hand, you might as well hit everything that needs the water in your hand. You know what I mean? So I try to put a little bit of thought into that process as well. All right, let's see what babies get set up here. Let's see. Inferno Bold. We'll set up the Inferno Bolds. These, in my opinion, are nothing special right now, but they might grow to be something nice. All of that black will turn purple, which will eventually turn green. These are Inferno Bolds. Our Inferno Bold, our Infernos project geckos are typically not as reddish orange as our Mandarin / Mandarin Inferno geckos. So the Inferno Bold crosses tend to be less colorful than the Mandarin Bold crosses, because the Mandarin was just a deeper, more heavily orangey red line in general, you know? But Inferno has its perks as well. When I brought our original Infernos in, one of the traits of Inferno is actually like green patterning and stuff like that, emerine. So the Infernos that I brought in had a lot of emerine to them. And that mixes really well with Mandarin, and it mixes really well with bold stuff to create clown-like animals is kind of the point of this project, as well as heavily patterned tangerine animals, you know? So super cool. I need to label these guys now. These are Infernal Bolt, so INBO. Neither of them is Tremper, so I don't need to worry about that. INBO, male sign, 512. All right. The genetics lab. Well, thank you, Sarah. Just wondering why here in the UK don't have Propo breeder like you. Your morphs are so colorful. Dang, well, thank you, Philip. That is the highest compliment. I follow the European market a little bit. And I don't know if you know who Echo Geckos is, but I've listened to some podcasts of him, and he's in the European market. He's him along with Dragoon Gecko and along with Sophie's Geckos. So those are 3 European breeders that I would recommend you following because you're going to find great quality stuff from them. Echo Geckos, Dragoon Gecko, and Sophie's Geckos. Now, a common thread that I've noticed between all those guys, they have great stuff. Their stuff is right on par with the stuff that we have here in America for the most part. I mean, everyone's got their different projects and everything, right? But one of the things is it's more difficult. There's a lot more rules and regulations to breeding animals, selling animals, keeping animals over there than there is over here in America. So we could do it a lot quicker. We could do it a lot faster. There's a lot more breeders in America that are working different bloodlines, and you can incorporate diverse genetics. So there's other people kind of teaming along and helping the hobby further these certain bloodlines like Tangerine or Black Knight. So those are a couple of reasons. It's just there's more regulations over there. It's more difficult. And for those reasons, not as many people are breeding and not as many geckos are going into that country and being sold and traded in that country in the same way compared to America, where we're oversaturated. For leopard geckos, honestly, we have too much selling, too much trading going on, that it makes it difficult for people over here to create a business out of leopard geckos because the sustainability and the consistency of sales is tough. With as many people that are doing it and have nice geckos, it's tough to kind of differentiate yourself, you know? But that's why I do social media. I mean, I also enjoy social media. Back when I had 10 or 100 followers, I was just as passionate about social media. Go back and watch my earliest videos, my very earliest videos where I didn't have any followers. I'm the same person. It's the same passion that's coming through. So don't get me wrong. I love goals. I love pushing myself to excel to certain goals. And I love seeing myself hit and achieve those goals. And the 100,000 subscriber mark on YouTube was a goal that I actually never foresaw myself hitting because I just didn't think that was possible for my niche of the animal world, which is a breeder. I'm a breeder, and most breeders don't make it past 10K. You know, most breeders don't make it past 5K on YouTube. There's very few. There's a couple handfuls of breeders that have made it past 5K, and that's including ball python breeders. That's including all reptile breeders, but specifically leopard gecko breeders. Past 5K is like 3. There's like 3, right? Matt Baronic, us, Geckopia, and then there's a few others that I don't know where they're at anymore, but they were beneath that 5K mark. It's very tough as a breeder on YouTube to get recognition because not a lot of people agree with what you do as a breeder. I mean, I'll be honest, I show everything. Look at this. This is how we house our animals. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of keepers are like, how could you keep them in tubs? How could you keep them without lighting? You know what I mean? How could you? And because of that, breeders don't get a lot of attention compared to keepers. There's dozens and dozens of keepers on YouTube that are well above breeders. You know what I mean? The largest leopard gecko channel. Okay, so here's my next goal. I'll share it with you guys. Now that I hit 100K, my next goal is to surpass the largest leopard gecko influencer in the world, which is, does anybody know? Does anybody know? I'm gonna label this gecko. Okay, wait. Who are these? These are IMBO. What did I do with the sticker? Oh, it's on there. So take 30 seconds. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Does anybody know who the largest leopard gecko influencer is on YouTube? It's not Echo Gecko. Maybe on Facebook. On Facebook, Echo Gecko is probably the largest. I'm not sure if he has like 100K on Facebook, but that would be insane. Because Facebook is a great place for business and marketing. But when I mean influencer, I'm talking more about YouTube. So let's stick with YouTube. Brian, let me say this. I've been talking to a couple people about Brian Barczyk and Jay from Prehistoric Pets. They're in a different category. They are in social media reptile zoo influencer. Although they're a breeder, they're also a zoo, and that's what gets them a lot of attention, which is one of the reasons why a lot of our videos are doing well, is I'm kind of transitioning from a purely breeder video based standpoint. I'm transitioning into like facility type stuff, tour type stuff, what is it called? Sensational visualization of stuff. You know what I mean? Like my sailfin dragons and just everything, right? But breeder wise, it doesn't see. Yeah, ACJ got it. There is a channel on YouTube that is called The Leopard Gecko, or it's just called Leopard Gecko. It is a British girl who has never shown her face once. I looked at all her videos. I wanted to see what she looks like. I can't find one picture of her face anywhere. And she has like 250 or 300,000, I think, on YouTube. And she is not a breeder. She is not in support of breeders. A matter of fact, we did a live stream with Jessica's Animal Friends, who we were way beneath Jessica's Animal Friends, but I think now we actually surpassed her. But we did a video with Jessica's Animal Friends, and that was awesome. I love Jessica. Much respect to Jessica, because she does not like breeders. She does not like what we do. But she came onto our show. We had a cordial conversation about the differences in perspective that a breeder has versus a keeper. And I feel like we both had a decent time getting our points across and getting our points out and letting our voices be heard, you know, and just allowing people that watch the video to enjoy no matter what side of the fence they fell on. And that's what I'm all about. So she's friends with Leopard Gecko. And so I don't want to speak for the British girl, Leopard Gecko, but I'm pretty sure I've seen enough of her content to know that she does not support what breeders do. She does not support the massive overproduction of animals. She does not support keeping them without UVB, without direct heat bulbs and all. Flawless, what's going on? Okay, Flawless, hold on. While I got you here, hang tight for a second. I know you guys are busy. So I don't know if you know this, Flawless, but we hit over 100K on YouTube, which is a monumental moment for any reptile breeder. I think there's only one. I'll jump off this horse in a second, but the way that I visualize the YouTube world is there's people in different categories. Miguel is the largest reptile breeder, like niche, high-end, just small facility breeder that I know of. Above him is like Brian Barczyk and Jay from Prehistoric Pets, which they're in like the zoo category. So when it comes to the breeder category, I only know one person that's larger than where we're at right now, and that's Miguel Garcia at 130,000 subs. So I think this is a monumental moment for not only breeders, but especially gecko breeders, that we were able to achieve this level of progress. And I wanted to celebrate with our leopard gecko family first, but then I wanted to celebrate with our crested gecko family second. So we're doing a giant leopard gecko. We're doing a giant leopard gecko giveaway next Friday. After that giveaway is done, I'm going to start getting with crested gecko companies such as yourself, Flawless, and Tiki's Geckos, and Robbie's Reptiles, and anybody else who wants to join, caging companies. Just make it a big event celebrating the fact that a gecko channel is over 100K on YouTube, and we'll do another giveaway session with crested gecko focused people. So I wanted to talk to Will and Audra over at Flawless, because I think what they're doing is amazing. Their branding is amazing. Their positivity is amazing. Like, everything about them is amazing. And I've been, meaning to catch up with them more as time goes on. And I also really know that they're big into like promotion and marketing and that kind of thing. So I want to make a gigantic marketing push for the crested gecko side of things and involve people like them and the other names that I mentioned to do a crested gecko giveaway or a gift card giveaway to these crested gecko shops or whatever. So I'll be talking to you, Will and Audra, about that once next Friday's leopard gecko giveaway thing is done, because a lot of our followers really enjoy gargoyle geckos, crested geckos, even ball pythons. You know what I mean? So while we're celebrating, why not celebrate each of these categories and bring on different reputable breeders that want to participate and just have a good old fun time, giving some stuff away, networking, marketing, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of, I don't know what happened to my chat here. My chat doesn't want to come back. So I apologize. I can't see what anyone's saying right now. Wait, let me try super chat, hide all chat messages. Let me hide it and then let me bring it back. No, it doesn't want to do it. Top chat doesn't want to do it. Live chat. Not really sure why it's hiding my messages right now. It's never done that for me on YouTube. My battery should be pretty decent at this point. So anyway, I can't see your response, Will and Audra, but that's something that I'll be talking to them about as well. And I'm pretty sure our followers that even love leopard geckos, a lot of them love the other stuff as well and would love to participate in that too. And yeah, so what we're doing for the leopard gecko giveaway, I think there's like 7 to 8 companies right now that are involved in the leopard gecko giveaway. Every single day for the next week until the giveaway takes place, I'm going to create an Instagram post for every company, highlighting every company, what they're giving away, what they do for business, tagging them, encouraging others to go to their page and follow so that they could be part of our live giveaway. And I'll do the same for the crested gecko people when that time comes as well, so I wish I could see the chat. It's just not showing me. Okay, so let me get back to cleaning here. So we got these 2 little ones, 2 water bowls, good. For the longest time, I avoided hydro flasks because I like to just drink out of our old orange juice bottles or whatever, right? Because there's less moving parts. And my whole thing was, when there's less moving parts, there's less bacteria involved. It's easier to keep clean. Whereas with these, there's like 15 different pieces where bacteria can gather on this thing. But anyway, now that I am using a hydro flask, I'm a big supporter of hydro flasks. They keep your water cold. And especially me, when I'm running around in these hot rooms all day, and outside in Arizona is getting really hot now. And this has this little handle thing. It also has this strap. I bring this thing everywhere like it's a fanny pack. It's so funny. So I love this. This gives me the right amount of hydration as well as cools down my body temperature a little bit as I'm working and stuff, And thank you. I think I forgot to thank you. Somebody commented on my bald head. As you get older, it becomes more and spend more money on geckos. It becomes more cost effective to just shave your own head for free. Also, if you have white hairs there, like myself, I'm 35 now, so I'm gaining some white hairs. You also don't notice the white hairs when you shave your head. And it kind of makes you look younger in a way compared to if you have a full head of hair and you're an older man and you start losing your hair, that kind of ages you, right? People can see where you have those gaps of bald spots or whatever. But if you just shave your whole head and you have kind of like a younger looking face or skin, it keeps you younger looking than you actually are, you know? So not like I'm trying to stay younger looking, but at the same time, I just, I like to arrange myself in a somewhat presentable way. And I feel like the shaving of the head is the easiest way to do that, you know? And most cost effective. So every single year, instead of spending 20, actually, I heard the price went up to like 25, $30 at a barbershop 2 times a month. That's $60 a month times 10 months in a year. That's $720 a year. Did I get that right? $720 a year that you spend on haircuts as a man, minimum. And if I take that now and roll that into geckos, that's how I've thought these last couple years. Like, I just rolled everything into the business, into geckos, all that kind of stuff, you know? So, but that's because I was starting kind of from ground level and trying to make the most with what I had and not try to take on too much investment at once. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's see what we got here. I need to get the chat back, y'all. I don't know what's going on here. What can I do? What can I do? Let me flip the camera. And then, oh, that did not flip the camera. Hold on. Let me flip the camera. Let me flip it back. And no, I have no chat. I have no chat. Why would I have no chat? That's interesting. I kind of need a chat because I need to know if, like, I'm muted or why is the chat hidden? I need to know if I'm muted, if anything's going on. Okay, bear with me, y'all. I'm gonna turn you guys sideways real quick. Rotate device. Oh, it's locked, probably because of the live stream there. I might have to like get my laptop, borrow my wife's phone. Let me see if I can see how much battery. Yep, I got 71% battery, so I'm good there. I do have a laptop, but I think it's dead. This is why I need 2 phones. I need a business phone and I need a personal phone. Actually, my wife's probably using her phone, but let me check. You're using your phone. I have no live chat. I don't know what to do. Maybe you will watch TV. I think you should phone on and I don't know what to do. So if you guys have cats, you know that your cats will favor one of the owners. And our cat definitely favors Whitney. Every time I go out there, when Whitney's on the couch with the cat is like right next to her. Just like lying as close as she can to my wife, you know? So, Geeky. I got my wife's phone, by the way. See, my wife's a trooper. Even though she wasn't in the reptile world before me, she, like, ever since I've been in the reptile world, she supports me 100%, whatever I need. You know what I mean? Look, she even has bell notifications turned on for me, you know? So even has I'm gonna need to mute this though. Okay, so now this is the life of a YouTube streamer. Hi, Dendon. He can't see the messages at the moment. Okay, so we are good now. So I got the messages now on my wife's phone. And I'm going to put it right against the wall so I can kind of see the messages. That's the first time that ever happened to me. Watch, it's going to jump back now that I got my wife's phone. Okay, anyway, I made a trade with her. I took her phone and she's going to watch something with the TV. So next group of animals that I need to change here. Let's see what else we got. It's been a minute since I showed any animals, so let me show off. So here's another great thing. Remember I was talking about the second generation and not sure if it would be that orange? Here is another. Gosh, this is... Orange is the hardest color to pick up on camera, but I can tell you in person, this gecko right here is at least 2 to 3 times more orange than what's showing on camera. So, and this is a generation 2, Mandarin, Inferno, Bold, Cross. So all of those blacks should turn green by the time the animal ages into adulthood, and hopefully the animal would have spots, like black spots on it as it ages into adulthood. You know, so okay, cool. So now I can kind of technical difficulties. You're older, you're the same age as me. RJ, what's going on, man? I like that white baby. Which white baby was it? Was it this albino one right here? If you want it, you got it. I'm probably gonna sell that one. I don't keep too many albinos, because with albinos you are most likely gonna make a lot of albinos, because mostly everything's het albino. So I try to like sell off the albinos for the most part, unless it's my Charmander project where I'm working on getting a gecko that's all orange from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. Also, I think I kind of touched on this in the last live stream. If you take a high quality tangerine that is not albino, not bell, not tremper, not rainwater, and you compare it to any of the lines of albino, the one that is not albino is going to be more reddish orange than the albino one, because albino takes away a little bit of the reddish color and replaces it more with like a lighter orange color. So that's another reason why I don't keep too many albinos. Now, here's the thing. How do I want to put this? You ever consider somebody that has like superhuman strength, right? Like there's somebody, have you ever heard of those stories of like a woman, like just an average woman, doesn't even work out, and a child gets stuck under a car and she's able to lift the car off the child? Like something triggers in the human body to be able to make that possible. Albino leopard geckos from high quality tangerine lines are the same. Just because it's not as orange as the gecko that's not albino does not mean that it might actually produce more orange babies than the other one, because you can't get a true reading for how high quality this animal actually is because it's albino. So what I'm saying is the albino hides a little bit of its power and it's still worth breeding, but visually doesn't look as good and therefore needs to sell for less on the market. At least that's the way that I view it, you know? RJ, if you need a female Tremper albino, go to our website right now. I just updated more Black Knights, more Tangerines, more female albinos, more white and yellows, all that good stuff. And also, we have a discount code on our website, SPRING23 at checkout. So if you use code SPRING23 at checkout, 10% off all the way through May for the celebration of spring. So if you're not part of our website email list yet, I also encourage you to do that, because when you sign up for our website email list, you get a 10% off coupon. And then when other stuff comes about, you'll get another 10% off coupon. You know what I mean? So if you go to our website and scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see where it says subscribe for emails. Those are the first people notified when sales go up and those kinds of things. You know what I mean? I was going to say when animals get posted, but in reality, sometimes before I even send out the emails, I'm already posting the animals to social media, like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, you know what I mean? We need this. I wish I could listen to music while doing this. I guess I could in an earbud in my ear. I think that's how Matt does it, Matt Baronic. Okay, so remember I talked about efficiency. So now I got my humid hide ready. I got my food bowl here. Water dish. So we're going to spray water. Get this nice and wet. You want it really as wet as you can to make it survive for 7 to 12 days. And see, I never had to let go of this once. That's the most efficient use of that sprayer. So I don't have to put it down, move things around, grab it, use it, put it down again, move things around again. So like, that's the way that I kind of view the efficiency of trying to come up with a way that's most efficient. All right, so we got more worms down there, some powder. We're going to set these two lovelies up right here. So these two lovelies are going to go into here. One of them's a little small, and it makes me feel better that there's a smaller water dish in there. The other one's big, and I know is going to have no problem whatsoever getting into the water dish. And then there's one sibling left here, so we're just going to put that off to the side. Grab a lid. Mark. So this is now going to be, how did I label that first one? So, okay, perfect. So this is actually an Inferno bold. So I'm going to put this. I'm going to put Mandarin Inferno BO. So Mandarin Inferno BO, Generation 2, because that's basically what this is. And I'm going to put TR at the end because one of them's albino. So I know that all the babies are possible het albino or they're going to be visual albinos. And 512. And that's it. So all of those little abbreviations, I know what they stand for. And I can type them out when it comes time to selling the animal. So do that. This one is going to go off to the side here. I'm trying to get my mom a leopard gecko, so she is not going. She is not. Let me do this. Trying to get my mom a leopard gecko. Chat still doesn't want to come back, huh? All right, chat. I see you. Not you guys. I mean, I'm trying to get my mom a leopard gecko, so she is not doing good, but my dad can help me. My dad always helped me sneak animals in when I was younger, and, you know, that was awesome. He was great. He said he needed a female Tremper albino, I believe, not a male. Yeah, we have a bunch of Trempers on our website. Adrenaline rush equals albinism. Yeah, what I meant to say was the hidden power within that mother or that father to lift the car off the child is the same as the hidden power inside of an albino that is hiding behind the albinism. The albinism is masking that hidden power. So, see, the little one is actually in the water bowl itself right now. The shallow water bowl, I should say. Okay, it's hot in here. The door is closed, so I need to make sure I drink cold water. So if you go to our website, we have leopard geckos from $50 all the way to like $2,000. And everything's 10% off now for our spring discount if you use the spring 23 discount at checkout code. But if you mean how many geckos do we have, we probably have somewhere around 1,500 leopard geckos. And I would say 85 to 90, I would say 90% of those are pretty much like full grown adults. So they're either breeding, holdbacks, or up for sale that are adults. Because I like to really grow all of our geckos out to adulthood so I can see which ones are showing the best qualities and traits as they age that I want to hold back. That's one of the main reasons why I sell them typically as adults. You know what I mean? Rather than younger. Okay, these two we could mix. So here we have this is 4. Never mind. here we have a 3-banger. Here we have a 1-banger. So we're going to mix these two now because one of them is albino. And so it's not going to get confused with the other one, which is not albino. See, I was just thinking about that. I had to grab the sprayer so that I could make the paper towel stick to this. And I was like, am I wasting a step here? But no, I need to do this before I put the humid hide in. Which, here's the humid hide. I'm going to fill it with some dirt. Oh yeah, so I would love to listen to music while doing this, but YouTube would definitely demonetize the video if it recognizes popular songs, sometimes even unpopular songs, if it recognizes that in your video. And although you usually don't make too much money from these types of videos, especially as we grow, that number is increasing, but also something is better than nothing, right? So, plus if I was playing music, I couldn't really talk to you guys too well. Maybe? I don't know. I feel like you wouldn't be able to hear me so well. Alright, so here's what we're going to do here. We have, we're going to get this first Manferno out. So here is, oops, a little bit of dust got on her head. So here's a Mandarin Inferno, albino. We're going to put her in here. Or him. These are all temperature sex male. But again, just because something is temperature sex male does not mean it's going to turn out male. I could feel a dead, underdeveloped gecko in here. I could feel it, but I'm just going to let it, and it smells. That's always the #1 sign. If you touch the egg, smell your fingers, and it smells, that's most likely a dead egg. I've never had one hatch, but just in the off chance it does, because I like to study data and statistics, I'm going to leave it in there. Plus, it would be cruel if I throw this away and then the animal's still alive. But I just know that there's a 99.999999999% chance this animal is it's underdeveloped and it's dead. I could just tell. But I'm gonna leave it in there anyway. Let me make out the ID code here. So we have a Mandarin Inferno Tremper. So there it is. Main TR stands for Mandarin Inferno Tremper. That was incubated for male. And then in here, we have Mandarin Clown. Okay, so really cool. Mandarin Clown, also incubated for male. And these were born on 5/12. So perfect. One of them's albino, one of them's not albino. So there's no way that I'll get them mixed up. And this one here is actually a reverse stripe. Dang, I wish the oranges would get picked up. But these guys are like 3 times as orange as they are on camera. Super beautiful. That's the problem with Tangerine. It doesn't show up well on camera. But in our new facility, you know the facility that we build out? I truly want to make that look like a laboratory. You know, so when you go into a laboratory, everything's white and pristine, right? If I can do that, I believe I can pick up the natural colors of the animal a lot better than in this room where there's like, look at that. There's like a yellow light there. So the yellow light is washing out all of the nice, beautiful orange tones of the Tangerine. This one's so cute. Look at her. Look at her. She's moving here. Oh, yeah, look at that. She's trying to push this water bowl, but she doesn't realize that it's the water bowl's hot glued. So there you go. She make sure she doesn't have no vermiculite stuck under. Actually, I'll use this as a little example. This gecko would probably be 100% fine, but sometimes baby leopard geckos get a little bit of vermiculite stuck to their skin, and to undo that, I take the sprayer and just kind of gently rinse the gecko in my hand. I have carpet, so I just gently rinse that, and that makes me feel more comfortable putting the gecko away because it loosens up that vermiculite, or in most cases completely takes away that vermiculite, and then I have no worry. Even though it's really not a worry, I have no additional worry that the vermiculite is going to like stick to the eye or cause it shedding issues or something like that, you know? Or the animal's going to ingest it, right? Because as the animal's shedding, it's eating its skin. And if it's eating its skin and there's vermiculite dust stuck on its skin, that vermiculite is going to get inside the body of the animal. And even though vermiculite is natural, I still don't think it's good for like the animals to be swallowing it unnecessarily. I would rather them not, you know what I mean? So I think about those kinds of things, you know? All right, perfect. Label these guys. What I miss here? Like you said in a previous video, 2 animals that look okay, that look the same as babies can turn out to be $100 animals versus $2,000 animals. Yeah, for sure. That's the number one reason why I keep animals so long. But then there's also a couple other benefits to it, and also a couple other non-benefits. So I'll go over that real quick. The benefit to keeping animals for a longer period of time. You know what they look like. They tend to be more valuable when people eventually do buy them, because now someone's getting an older animal that's more established, closer to breeding age, so it's more desirable than a baby that is not closer to breeding age. Unless the baby's price is way down here and the adult's price is way up here and the person doesn't want to pay the adult price. Then the baby might sell better. But, so point number one, they're usually more valuable if you can get somebody to pay the extra money for them because they're an adult. In the crested gecko world, that's no problem. All day long, people pay thousands of dollars for 30-gram geckos, which are still a year out from breeding. But in the leopard gecko world, it's tough. You know, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. In the leopard gecko world, people don't want to spend money. They don't look at leopard geckos as investments. They look at leopard geckos as pets. And as pets, people don't want to spend more than $100. Now, there are people that look at it as investments, but even those people are aware of how difficult it is to sell them for investment prices, and so sometimes they don't want to pay investment prices. The only people that are willing to pay investment prices are like small businesses like myself that are actually trying to create a business out of it, get good animals, and then also hobbyists that don't care about selling the geckos and they just want nice animals. Those are the two groups of people that have no problem paying for high quality, high dollar leopard geckos. But even then, a high dollar leopard gecko is still not as easy to sell as a high dollar crested gecko, just because of where the market's at and all that kind of stuff. So I forget why I brought that up. I think I was talking about, difficulty in selling. So just because you keep that animal into adulthood, somebody might not be willing to pay that, you know? So for example, if you go on my website right now, I have some adult leopard geckos on there for like $50. I just raised that animal for a year and probably spent more than $50 in feeding it and employee bills and electricity bills to take care of that animal, and I'm only selling it for $50. Now, in reality, I'm just using that as an example. I don't really think I spent more than $50 on raising that particular animal, but what I'm saying is, the investment of when you multiply that by hundreds of $50 geckos, the investment of your time and money that you're putting in winds up not being worth it sometimes. So these are things to consider, but in theory, an older leopard gecko should sell for more comparatively than a younger leopard gecko. Benefit number 3 to selling older leopard geckos. I had to look to see if I lost anybody, because I go on these rants and I look to see, did I lose the audience. You know what I mean? Sometimes I circle around the same topic like 15 times, but that's just the way that I like to educate and the way that I like to teach is by saying it multiple times in multiple ways so that your brain can really wrap yourself around what is going on. But benefit number 3 of selling older leopard geckos. They do much better acclimating in the home that they go to versus younger geckos, especially if they're going to a home of somebody who's never had a gecko before or is new to keeping leopard geckos. So you're going to have less customer service issues selling older geckos than younger geckos. Because it's easier for older geckos to acclimate. They get less, there's less concern of them getting damaged during shipping. Because they're bigger, they're healthier, they're stronger, their bodies can withstand the shaking of the box. So, for example, one of my customers the other day got their box upside down, like just left upside down. You know what I mean? And although the gecko can turn themselves right side up, that just shows you that when these packages go into the mail, we have no control over how those packages get handled. And if you really, really think about it, they're quickly getting loaded onto trucks, loaded onto planes, loaded back onto trucks, going to your house, getting dropped on your doorstep. There's so much bumpiness going on. And the FedEx drivers, you know, for the most part, they're treating it like any other box. They have thousands of boxes to go through. And although I would like to think that they would see live harmless reptile on there and respect the box a little bit more, we know without a shadow of a doubt, we know that that doesn't always happen. So these animals go through a lot during shipping, and then they end up in this new place that's completely foreign to them. And if the owner doesn't know heating, lighting, food, calcium, all that kind of stuff, when the gecko's younger, that gecko can crash and pass away 1,000 times easier than an older gecko can. So I stay in heavy communication with all of our customers as much as I can, check in with them, let them know to let me know if there's any concerns whatsoever. And I always mention to them, here's what the gecko needs. Even if they tell me they know how to care for the gecko, I say, haha, you know what I mean? Like I bring a light face to it or whatever. And I'm like, oh, by the way, just to let you know, here's the main things that the gecko needs. A humid hide, calcium with D3, a 90 to 100 degree hotspot. I usually just leave it with 3 things. If you give them a big, long, drawn-out list, they're not going to read that or care. But if you hit them with those 3 simple facts, it's easier for them to wrap their mind around what the animal needs. So anyway, those are 3 reasons why selling adults is beneficial. Here's some reasons why selling adults is not beneficial. You have to care for the animal for a longer period of time. You have to pay employees or spend your own resources and time to care for that animal for sometimes up to 1 year before it even sells. You take the risk that the animal is not going to sell, and you're going to have to sell it for even cheaper than what somebody would have been willing to pay for it as a baby, because some people just like to buy babies. Oh, and another reason why I don't like selling babies is because when you take a picture of a baby and then it doesn't sell for 3 months, and then somebody comes to you and is like, I want to buy this gecko, it looks completely different now. And you have to take new pictures, and it's more time that you have to put into it. So I try to wait till the gecko is 3 to 4 months at minimum, and then take pictures, because for the most part, that gecko is starting to look like what it's going to continue to look like into adulthood. You know what I mean? Anyway, long circular rant coming all the way back to the beginning here. I need to show you guys some geckos. All right, so we got more geckos here. Let's prep this. Ooh, bonus! We have a front opening hide already in this tote. bonus. If there's a little poo that's stuck, we love using a spoon. If it's dry poo, if it's wet poo, I like to encourage myself as well as our employees to use a paper towel, clean it, spray it with clean water, and wipe it again. Just because wet poo smears, and so you don't want to smear the poo, you want to clean it and deplete it. You know what I mean? Make sure it's not an issue. So tomorrow, new video coming out on tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. New video on an update to whatever happens to our 2 male boys that had prolapse hemipenes this season. The first video talked about how we were treating them. The second video showed, which is tomorrow, will show what happened 3 weeks later. So you got to tune in for that video tomorrow. I also left a couple bloopers in there for you guys. I left a couple unedited scenes, and I didn't spend as much time cutting out all the spaces and all of that, because sometimes it's a waste of time, and sometimes people don't even care about it, especially now that we're a larger platform. I'd rather spend my time getting more content out there, even if it's not as heavily edited, than less content out there that is heavily edited. Because editing takes a long time. It can easily take between, if you're an experienced editor, it can easily take between 8 to 12 hours to make a 10 to 20 minute video. If you're cutting out every single pause, every single break, if you're adding in pictures and sound elements and links and cues and all that kind of stuff, easily 8 to 12 hours. But if you just minimize that down to like 1 to 2 hours of editing or something, you can get more content out there. And arguably, it's the same. And sometimes people even enjoy seeing the unedited stuff a little bit more than the edited stuff. So anyway, let me know what you think about this more unedited approach that I'm taking. But keep this in mind. If I don't edit as heavily, I can get 10 times as much content out compared to if I edit more heavily. So let me know your thoughts in tomorrow's video. I left a couple bloopers and oopsie words in there and stuff like that. Nothing too bad, but I usually would cut all that stuff out. You know what I mean? Because anyway, I try to be as family friendly as possible and all that stuff. But I won't say what the blooper is that I left in, but I said a word that I would normally cut out. And a matter of fact, I cut it out, and then I listened to the playback of it, and I was like, I'm just going to leave it in the original way, leave it as a little bit of a blooper for somebody, and see what people think about it. You know what I mean? It's still family friendly, don't get me wrong. It's especially the way that I bring it up. I don't think it's anything that anybody would take offense to, but just me personally, I normally do not say that word in that way describing that situation. So, see what it winds up being. Oh my gosh, look at these guys. They're made an escape. Look at these. Look at these. If I left these two, that kind of looks like a, what does that look like to me right now? I don't know. It reminded me of something for a second. Maybe like a snake head, like a garter snake head. But, all right, so we're going to put these guys away here. Oh, I don't have food. Oh, they're screaming. One of them's screaming. Leopard geckos do that, by the way, to people who don't know. I don't have water in here. Here we go. Water. Water. That was so funny. I grabbed the one gecko, and the other gecko was holding on to the tail of the baby. And so as I grabbed the one gecko, the other gecko got lifted out, holding on to the tail of the other gecko. It's funny. You had to be there. Let's label these guys. So these guys, cool. these guys are my OCD. Sometimes I just like evening this out before putting the leftover egg in there. I also put how many eggs were fertile. So E means embryo. And if I put NE, that means no embryo. And in the past, I had other abbreviations for like soft eggs, bad eggs, stuff like that. But for the most part now, I just put an E on there or NE. And so if I put 6E and only 4 babies hatch, then I know that 2 babies died during the development process, and that's something that I could keep in mind. You know, if, you know, maybe it's something I need to adjust in my husbandry or care or whatever the case is. I just like geeking out over those numbers and those kinds of things, you know what I mean? But we have no issues this year. I'm not concerned about anything. We haven't had a unusual amount of embryos that die or don't develop in the egg. That will happen. I was going to say 100% of the time, but no, I would probably say 20 to 40% any given season. 20 to 40% of embryos are going to encounter death or undevelopment or runty babies or something along those lines. But, you know, every season is going to be a little bit different. And that's just a guesstimate number. It might not be that exact number, but that's why I say 20 to 40%, because that's a large range right there. And it also lets you know, because sometimes I have people that contact me and they're like, hey, am I doing something wrong? Because all of my eggs, like I'm losing a lot of eggs or whatever the case is. And I review their care of the eggs and incubation and all of that. And I can't pinpoint that they're doing anything wrong. So it could be lack of fertility. It could be female issues, male issues. It could be just natural attrition. There's a natural death rate of animals in the wild. It could be bad genetics. It could be temperature fluctuation. You know, I know I said I ruled that kind of stuff out, but sometimes there's things like unknown that affect the egg in certain micro moments. Places in the incubator, you know, like some places in the incubator are more hot or less hot than other places in the incubator. So there's literally so many things that it can be. But even if everything is perfect, you're still going to stand a 20 to 40% death rate of embryos. And so I always say that to people to make them feel better and more confident that they're not necessarily doing something wrong. They might just be encountering some bad luck, or they might be finding themselves in that 20 to 40% zone at the moment, you know? So, what did I put in here? Mandarin clowns. And, see, I put on there HT, which means that it was bred to a Tremper albino, so all of these are 100% Tremper albino. So these are MACL. Sometimes I try to figure out which way I want to put it, and for all my Mandarin stuff, I usually put the best genetic first. So for all my Mandarin stuff, it's always been MA, because the Mandarin is the top genetic. But Clown now is equal to Mandarin, so sometimes I put CL. So what do you guys like better? I could put MACL, which is Mackle, or I could put CLMA, which is Clam. I'm going to put Clam for now because that's I personally like Clam a little bit better. So we got 2 clams in here. Incubated for male. Oh, and I need to put Het Tremper. So these are Clam HTs. Het for Tremper. Born on 5/12. 5/13 for some of you guys. Clam gang. See? Clam HT. Perfect. Doing a little stretch over here. Okay, let me grab some water. I'm going to try to bang these out, finish these out. I'm sorry, I know I've been missing a lot of the questions, but it's kind of tough to like actually do the cleaning in a reasonable time period and answer the questions at the same time. Okay. I always do a double, triple check usually. I just walked over to the rack, look at all the water bowls, make sure nothing's wrong. Because especially when I'm doing live streams or talking, sometimes things can get overlooked. And the first week of a baby's life is so crucial. That's why I would rather them have humid hides than not have humid hides, just because of how crucial their first week is. It's crucial they have food. It's crucial they have water. It's crucial they have humidity. It's crucial they have, I said water. And all in a small space. The smaller the space, the better. Because they will find their food and all of that much easier. And it will get them jump-started into growth much better for the first 7, if you do that, for the first 7 to 10 days of life. Cool. And even though they're not going to eat all those worms, I still like giving them that. We got 4. These guys are big. So I'm actually going to give them a few more worms. We have 4 Inferno Bolds. So what this is this is our Inferno Tangerine line bred to our Hyperxanthic Bold Emerine line. And you can see some of them even came out striped when there's no striping in this pairing, just because our bold stuff is very heavily influenced by bold stripe lineage. Even though these particular geckos were not bred to a bold stripe in particular, a couple of them kind of came out striped. Actually, let me see if I can calmly handle these guys before they split in 5 different directions. And I'm going to put the 2, this one's kind of striped, but is going into shed already. But the other side of it's kind of striped, you can see that. So I'm going to put the 2 striped geckos in there. And then these 2 I'm going to set up. So I try to set babies up either by the same pattern or by the same size. And in this case, it just so works out that the 2 with the stripes are also closer in size to each other than the 2 without the stripes. So let's see. I'm just going to move through this really quick now. So these are INBO. IN because I value the Inferno above the Bold, even though they're both, great in their own ways. So Inferno Bolds. And the Inferno Bold project is great for bringing out black spot, heavy spotting and heavy pattern and orange tones and green tones. And these guys are ready to put away. All right, we got the next container here next. I did buy like a little GoPro thing, and I never wound up using it. Well, it's actually not a GoPro. It's a phone mount that is kind of likened to a GoPro. But I just feel like it would be way too awkward, like on my head or on my chest. So I'm just using this system for now. But I might try it out in the future. So the geckos usually stay in these little humid hides. The front opening humid hides. They usually stay in those until about 2 months old. Then they get upgraded to the top opening hides. And then at about 3 months old, they get separated. And they get put into their own individual cages. So that's kind of the routine of flow there. See, here's these 2. They're not really striped like the last 2 were. But one of them has this interesting, like, checkered pattern. That's pretty cool. That will probably fade as an adult, but it might wind up looking like something pretty awesome. Because I'll touch on something real quick. So, just real fast, in my last live stream, I touched on... Let me make sure my battery is good here. It's 59, yeah, we should be good. In my last live stream, I touched on the black spots on a gecko only come in the... how do I want to put this? I put it as the jacket areas of the gecko. So when a gecko is born, it has a black jacket on it. The black jacket, all of those black jacket areas on the body, not the head, not the tail, but the black jacket areas on the body, that's where spots are going to come in if that gecko is not hypo or super hypo. That's where the spots will naturally come in. So you can see that more in our last live stream when we're showing off clowns. And we're showing off clowns and inferno clown crosses. All of the blacks turn purple, and then the spots start to come in only in the purple areas. And then the purple turns green into adulthood. Some of that green stays. Some of that green blends into the orange, but the spots are only where the black, purple, and green areas are. It's really interesting. I usually don't like using the word only, because then some people are like, oh, look, you're wrong. In this case, it wasn't. But test me on that. Look for a gecko that developed black spots in an area that was not in its jacket. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, for me, what I've seen, what I'm observing in my limited knowledge and time of observing, even though I've kind of looked at thousands of geckos over the last few years, it always seems, I'll put it that way, it always seems that the black spots majoritively, 99% of the time, come in the jacket areas. And there's not any exact moment. Now, I haven't really looked for this too much, but exact moment where I could notice the spots coming in heavily in non-jacket areas. I can't even think of a moment where I ever saw any spots come in where the jacket was not. But that statement I just made is a little bit strong right there. I'm not completely 100% about it. But what I can say is, out of the hundreds of geckos that I raised last year and observed where the black spots come in, it seems like to me 100% of the time the black spots only come in the jacket areas of the gecko. So more time. What would actually need to take place is we would need to document, like, let's just say 100 geckos. We would have to take photos of 100 geckos from the first day they're born, 2 months later, 4 months later, 6 months later, 8 months later, into adulthood for the first 2 years, maybe even longer. Let's just say 2 years. For the first 2 years, and we would have to do that 100 times and see how many of those babies develop spots only in the original areas of their original jackets, and how many geckos develop spots outside of their jackets. And without doing that, it's hard to say anything conclusively, but I feel pretty strongly that most, if not all, spots on a leopard gecko, there should be 2 geckos. Oh yeah, it's hiding under the thing. Most, if not all, spots on a leopard gecko come in where those black patches are on the gecko's body when the gecko is a baby. You can see those black patches very easily. And that's where the spots, if the spots are going to come in, that's where they would come in. INBO, male, 5'12". That's it. No albinos from those 4. Even though all of our Inferno stuff is possible het raptor, I'm not going to put it on there right now because I don't need to specify that now. But if somebody asks me, like when I sell this animal, if somebody asks me like, hey, what are the possible hets? I could tell them possible het raptor, or I could just put it in the label. You know, some people don't care, so I don't bother putting it in the label sometimes. But some people, especially if I know they're a breeder, I'll be like, hey, do you want to know what the animal's possibly het for? And they're like, most of the time they're like, yeah, put it all that information on there. And that's when I'll do it. Golly, I've been talking a lot. My voice is hurting. All right, I need to start. How many I got here? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12 geckos, which is 6 more cages. Should I do all 6, or should I just end the stream there, take a break, and then finish the 6? You guys let me know. Do you want the stream to continue to go for all 6? If you guys want it, I will do it. If you guys don't want it, then I will most likely stop the stream, take a break, sit down for a minute, and then get back to this a little later in a half hour to 40 minutes. Funny thing is, this job makes you tired because you're working in like a hot atmosphere. You're standing above a table, all that kind of stuff. It's repetitive work. So the job makes you tired, but then you go to rest, and resting makes you tired, and you start to feel lazy, and it's tough to like kick yourself back into gear sometimes and get back into it. Six more is good. Okay, guys, we're gonna do. Keep the chat going. Please, if you have not liked this video yet, if you're watching this now or watching it in the future, please give it a like. That means a lot to me. It really helps our algorithm grow and lets YouTube know that you like this channel. And it tries to find other people, such as yourself, that would like to watch this channel. And so it just helps naturally grow our community. And so I would really appreciate that. Here is a black thingy. Black thingy. It's a food bowl. There's a food bowl. Oops. I'm on my wife's phone here. I'm trying to see how many likes we got, because I know we got 30 people in here now. And last I checked, we had like 20 likes. So if you guys got us to 30 likes, I would congratulate you guys, because there's 30 people and 30 likes. And sometimes it's nice to hear that you contributed to some kind of productivity. So if we could get this stream to 30 likes, I'm definitely going to take a second to congratulate all you guys for helping us get to 30 likes. All right, so we got 2 animals here. So here is this is a Mandarin Inferno cross to an Inferno. Yeah. So this is just a Manferno. And it's a little bit, it's not crazy orange like some of the other ones that we pulled out today, but it's definitely, oops, she's making a getaway here. It's definitely more orange than what the camera shows, because we have yellow lighting in this room. But again, when we move into an actual facility, I'll try to get white lighting so that the white lighting can override the yellow color and just make the animals look truer to color. So what we're going to write on here is, this is a Manferno. It's HT, which means it's het for Tremper. incubated for male. And then here we have a Mandarin Bold, Mabo. Mandarin Bold is Mabo. We have a Mabo Tremper. Both are born on 5/12 or... I mean, these guys are actually like 5 days old, but I'm pulling them on 5/12. The reason I put the date 5/12 on there is because a lot of people like to know the hatch date or close to the hatch date. It also lets me know if the animal is growing on tract or if it's like runty or weak genetics. You know what I mean? So like if the animal is hatchling size at 3 months later, then I know that something's wrong with that particular animal, you know? Not hatchling size, obviously, but I mean if it's small for its age, what I mean. Here's the Mabo. Here's the Mabo, which is nothing special. A Generation 1 Mabo, especially Tremper Albino Mabo, usually does not become very colorful. But a Generation 2, that usually develops some color. So that's what I was showing some off in the beginning of this live stream here. And some of the Generation 2 Mandarin Bold crosses, some of them are just as orange as the Mandarin Infernos, which is a more heavily bred tangerine line, versus the Bold Mandarin, which is our Bold Emerine Hyperxanthic, being crossed into a tangerine line for 2 generations in a row. Those are just as nice as it seems as some of the pure tangerine line ones. So again, that goes back to I'm doing a lot of talking here. I said I need to finish these 6. That goes back to my theory about the second generation crossback. If you take a pure tangerine, breed it to a non-tangerine, take those babies, breed it back to a high quality pure tangerine, you're going to get similar quality to what the dad was. It's the same with a Black Knight. If you take a Black Knight and breed it to a non-Black Knight and then breed those back to the Black Knight, you're going to get similar quality to what the dad was. At least that seems to be what's happening with our projects here in what I'm calling the second generation crossback phenomena. I know it's nothing special, but I like coming up with neat terms and neat words. And the more that you guys watch me, the easier it is for me to explain things. Even though for new people, I'm always going to explain why I call it that. But so if you hear me say something like, oh, this is a Generation 2, that means it's a crossback. So if it's a Black Knight Generation 2, it's a crossback from whatever I bred it to that wasn't Black Knight and then back to Black Knight. And same with the like our Manfernos. If you get a Manferno that's Generation 2, it was Mandarin bred to Inferno, bred back to Mandarin. That's Generation 2 crossback. I call that the second generation crossback. That's what I call it. I used to always have a friend that would like do these hand fart thingies. All right. I'm going to try to do very little talking here. Get this done because I am kind of losing my energy here. And I still have to water rats tonight. So I have to water rats. I was going to look into pairing some leopard geckos, but I don't think I'm going to have the energy and the mind capacity to do that best. So I might leave that for tomorrow. But I do need to absolutely water the rats. That has to happen. And then, yeah, I think the 2 things that absolutely have to happen is watering the rats and putting away the baby leopard geckos. So we're accomplishing the baby leopard geckos, and then I will accomplish the rats later tonight. And although I would like to ultrasound some ball pythons and or breed some ball pythons and leopard geckos, because that's very important, I just don't think I'm going to have the energy or mental capacity to fully attack that best. So here we go. Fasciolatus times fasciolatus. So these are just pure fasciolatus right here. And you can see how much lighter in coloration they actually are compared to a normal leopard gecko. So fasciolatus, and one of them's even lighter than the other, you know, so that's just natural variation. You can kind of see the one in the bottom is a lighter color than the one in the top. And that's a perfect example of how natural variation occurs. And you can see fasciolatuses usually hatch out pretty big. They're usually pretty big animals, which is awesome. Food, water, humidity. Wow, they even pooed in here. I normally never see that. Never. Actually, I've never seen that. Here's a fun fact for you guys. I've probably hatched over like 1,500 or 2,000 babies the last couple of years, and I've never seen them poo in their little thingy. So like I said, these were pulled, these were probably from anywhere between 3 to 5, you know, anywhere up to 5 days old, I want to say, from the last time I checked the incubator. And usually last year I was getting geckos at the no later than like the 3-day mark. But this year, as busy as we are, I usually sometimes I hit that 5 to 6 day mark. And I try not to, but sometimes it goes 5 to 6 days before I get into the incubator and pull all the eggs like this. But still, even then, that's the first time that I've had babies actually poop in there. And it was healthy poo too. Good solid poo for a baby, which is what you want to look for. I saw a Gina in here. If Gina's still in here, you're not the Gina that bought the Black Knight from us, are you? So cute. Sometimes they get where is it? You can see sometimes they go right under the paper towel and stuff, which is cool. That's why I use paper towel. It makes me more confident for them to weasel their way out of paper towel than newspaper when they're younger, because newspaper's a little heavier. It sticks a little heavier, which is why it's better for adults. But I think paper towel is better for the first 3 to 4 weeks of the animal's life. All right. My container is filling up with all those food bowls. I have them in like a drawer down there, and the drawer is like full. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do with that. Alrighty. Gonna put a little bit more substrate in there. My body wants to fall asleep right now. But the night is not over. But again, like I said, I'd rather... Whoa! Delay. I swallowed some of that. Oh, I think it cut off, but there's a delay in the feed that I'm watching where the comments are. So it's funny because I'm talking and I'm watching the delay happen. So I just saw myself pointing right now. Now I'm going to give the thumbs up. But let's see, the thumbs up is probably not going to come until right now. So there's like a 7-second delay. That's awesome. All right, we got... this one is cool. This one is a great example, actually. Here is our fasciolatus snow project. Yep. So this is fasciolatus snow. So 50% fasciolatus, 50% snow. One of them is snow, as you can see, the white one, and the other yellow one is not snow. But fasciolatus and snow go together like coffee and creamer. Connect. Oh, I connected. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but there was a disconnect. I was talking about fasciolatus snows, fasciolatus super snows. And yeah, so we created some fasciolatus super snows this year, which are extremely rare, or they're like world's first type thing, you know. I don't know if they would be a world's first. I just kind of advertise that way because nobody ever markets them or talks about it. But at the same time, I know that there's very few people that are actually doing it, if any. So I'll just keep saying that it is a world's first until someone actually shows me evidence that it's not. But it's really cool to get snow into Afghanicus and fasciolatus and Turkmenicus and Montanus and all the wild type bloodlines. But specifically over here, I really enjoy Afghanicus and fasciolatus. So that's... Why is it disconnecting? I'm talking and it's disconnecting. I don't know why. Oh, wait, let me try to open up. Oh, you're not watching TV? I'm going to leave the door open to see if the Wi-Fi waves make it through better. So this is a Fasna, fasciolatus snow. I don't know if you saw it, but one of them was snow, one of them wasn't. And these are incubated male, 512. And then if we continue to have connection issues, then I'll just end it there. But we got 3 more tubs left, guys. Hang with me. 3 more tubs. I don't know if my thing is up to date, but it's only showing the 20 likes. That's what I was checking on right now. Yeah, it keeps connecting. It keeps disconnecting for some reason. I'm not sure why. So I apologize for that. Maybe I have perfect battery. Like my battery's 53%. That should not be an issue. But oh, maybe it's, I don't know, the TV, the Wi-Fi that we're all using. Now that shouldn't be. I just upgraded my Wi-Fi, so I don't know. But if we keep having connection issues, then I could just end it there. But there's only 3 more tubs to go through. So here go the fasciolatus snows. Put them away. Here we have, what do we have? Manferno. Oh, this is another Manferno. This is another Manferno. Well, wait, let me put it this way. This is another Mandarin crossed to a Mandarin Bold. So this is a 2nd generation Mandarin Bold. Exactly what I'm looking to get, because it's just as orange at birth as some of our pure tangerine stuff. It is attitude. Look at this. It's going to bite. Hey, little one. Oh, little lick. I appreciate it. She's giving that kind of wobbly dance move there to kind of threaten us off. But anyway, in person, she's 3 times more orange than she is on camera right now. But that's part of what I was talking about earlier, where the 2nd generation crossback, she's a 2nd generation crossback, and you can see how good quality she is. She's just like a normal tangerine. So that's one way that you could make your projects more rapid, is by doing that 2nd generation crossback tech. All right, well, it does appear to keep cutting out on us. I really don't know why. The phone could be overheating. It doesn't feel like it. So I'm just going to end it there, guys, because I know it's really always stressful when the stream stops. Unless it's not stressful, you guys let me know. Because I think with YouTube, the stream just pauses, whereas with like TikTok or Instagram, the stream actually goes down. You know? And so like people have to re-find you. But it seems like a certain amount of our audience is still retaining. despite the connection issues. So if you just want to end it there, and just let me know. I think that's fine. Show the babies before you end the stream. Yeah. I hope you saw the baby. I hope you saw the babies. If not, I'll show them again one more time real quick. So this is Mandarin crossed to a Mandarin Bold. So this is now a Generation 2 Mandarin Bold, and you can see just how orange it is. It's just as orange as our like pure tangerine stuff. Now, we need to see how this gecko ages, but one of the goals of our Mandarin Bold project is to bring out black spotting into the tangerine line, as well as more green coloration. So I'm going to leave it there before it cuts off again. Thank you guys so much. I really love you. If you could give this video a like on the way out, I really appreciate that. And we're going to continue to grow our gecko family here. I'll see you in the next one. There's a video coming out tomorrow morning, so be sure to check that out on the hemipene update for the male leopard geckos. And I'll see you guys very soon, all right? More facility tours coming. Love you guys. Have a geeky gecko great night, guys. Peace.